Hi everyone, I'm Darlene with Two Dogs Canine Training, and this is Kaylee. She's my assistant. She helps me to do some demonstrations. I wanted to kind of give everybody an update on the status of classes since we're all still under the shelter-in-place order. I am hoping to start classes June 1st. We will have to see how that goes. I don't know if we'll be released to do that. If we are, we will most likely have to do some classes outside so we have enough space to be apart from each other, wearing masks, probably gloves, whatever. Unfortunately, with those restrictions, I will not be able to actually be touching anyone's dog, but I can be there obviously to instruct. But what I wanted to do in the meantime, since I know for sure it won't be until June 1st that we can start back, I wanted to get started doing some of the virtual online training. And I did just finish recording the 4 episodes of Beginning Obedience or Obedience 1 that pretty much basically follow the same curriculum that we would be using with the in-person classes. And everything that we do, I've had Kaylee do some demos so you can see how we do them. What I'm going to do, these are all on YouTube, and if you're wanting to do these, as I said, there are 4 episodes. The fee for those would be $40. You would have lifetime access to these videos. I would get those sent out to you, along with any papers, any handouts that I can scan and send to you. You will have access, as I said, to them for lifetime. You can contact me with any issues you're having, text me, call, email, whatever works for you. You can definitely send me a video of any problems you're having. Also, I'd love to have video to see how you are progressing, if you can send those to me too. What we will do, and I don't know, as I said, if we'll be starting classes before you get finished with all of these. You can do these at your own rate, whatever works for you. What we'll do when you get done with the classes, or with the online classes, if you are doing well and feel that your dog has progressed well enough that you can go to the next level class, when we get started with the actual in-person classes, we would just have you start with that. If you feel that your dog is still struggling a little bit and that you do need some of the in-person training for the obedience, the fee will be discounted for those in-person classes to reflect what you've already paid for these videos. And as I said, though, of course, you will still have access to the videos, so they're kind of a nice homework thing that even if you're doing the in-person class, you can watch them and kind of go over what you might have missed in class. The online, there's some advantages to that. One being that we just really would like to still be doing some training with our dogs, not having to wait till we're released to go out in public to actually train. These, though, will be nice too. You know, you're not going to have the distractions that you're going to have in person. There won't be other dogs, any people, whatever. You can do them in your own home, wherever it's nice and quiet to start out, in your living room, whatever. So as I said, no distractions. Your dog will be able to focus a little bit better on what you're needing or what you're asking of them. So that's a big plus. They're also going to be nice, you know, saving you a trip coming into class. I'm going to also continue these through the year, you know, in case we have bad weather, people can't get out, don't want to be driving in ice and snow. You'll still be able to be working with your dogs at home and do some of these things. When you're working on these too, as I said, I have people, you know, when you're training at first, start out in a nice quiet spot, in your home usually, where with not much going on, so you can really have your dog focus on you. Once they start getting better, start moving to another room to give them another place to learn. Start adding in a few distractions, maybe a couple people walking back and forth, whatever. This is what we do in class too, like especially proofing our stays and things. I will walk around while the dogs are staying as a bit of a distraction. If they're doing real well, I might be rolling a ball back and forth so that they get used to leaving those alone too. So you can work on any of that at home too. And I go over this in the first episode, but when you're training, I don't want people to think that you have to set aside a couple hours a day to train, anything like that, rigorous training. 2 to maybe, preferably 3 times a day if you have time, is good to train, but very short sessions, 5-7 minutes or so at the most, so that your dogs don't get bored, they don't get frustrated with everything. When you do the in-person classes, most of the dogs, you'll notice our classes are almost an hour long. By about halfway, most of the dogs are starting to check out and get a little bit bored and a little bit tired and losing their focus. Obviously, if you're driving in, I'm not going to just do a 10-minute class and send you home, so we do have to do a longer class. But when you're doing it at home, keep the sessions short so that your dogs don't get bored with everything. Also, when we do training, everything we do is positive training. We don't do any harsh corrections, anything like that. In class, I don't allow, and also, I would like that you follow these rules too. We don't do any prong collars, choke chains, electronic collars, shock collars, anything like that. No harsh leash corrections. Everything we do is what we call lure reward training, where we're going to lure our dog into whatever position we're asking for. When we teach a sit, we lure them into that sit and reward them with a treat. Any of those, that's how we do that. Old school, you may have seen, used to be to teach a sit. We pull up on the collar, jerk up on the collar, push down on the butt. We don't do any of that. No pushing down on them to get them to do a down. I'll show you in the videos how we do the luring to get them to go into the position where you don't have to touch your dog in any way, shape, or form other than to praise them, pet them after they've done what you ask them to do. So none of that should be harsh. And you've seen, I'm sure, people do harsh corrections if their dogs are jumping. I've heard all kinds of remedies like the knee in the chest or jerking the dog, pulling them over. We don't do any of that. For that reason, I like to have people teach a very reliable sit, so it becomes kind of a default behavior. I've done that with Kaylee. She knows that pretty much anything she might want from me, if I'm going to give her a treat, or when we feed, which I'm going to do a quick little exercise to show you, she knows that we sit for any of those things. Sit becomes a perfect default behavior. It'll cure pretty much anything. If the dog is jumping up, you get their attention, ask them to sit. If they're sitting, they can't jump. If they're chasing somebody, they sit, they can't chase. Whatever you ask them to do, or whatever you're wanting them to not do, a sit will cure those behaviors. So, and again, that eliminates all the need for anything harsh, any punitive type exercises, whatever, any remedies, I should say. So that's what we will work on. As I said, everything will be all positive training. We do use a lot of treats to start with, and eventually we do phase the treats out a little bit. They still do get treats as rewards, but not for every single thing, and I do explain that in the videos too. And always praise, though. Lots of praise. That is a wonderful reward for dogs. They like to have that positive input to let them know that they've done something we're happy with. Petting, just verbal praise, all of that makes them very happy. They can, you can reward them with toys and with play too. That's always a good reward. They enjoy that too. So if you think you might be interested in doing these, please be sure to let me know. You can contact me by phone, text, email, through the Facebook page that this is on, and send me a message, and I'll be happy to help get started with everything. And as I said, we'll still, I hope, be able to do our in-person classes. Hopefully this isolation won't last forever. I think we're all getting a little bit stir crazy from being in, including our dogs are probably getting stir crazy, or maybe if they're getting too much attention, they're probably hoping everybody goes back to work so they don't have to walk 10 times a day, but that's okay. The more attention they get, the better, so that's all right too. Okay, so just let me know if you're interested and we'll go from there. And I'm going to just have Kaylee do a quick demonstration of one of the exercises that we teach in class, and that's the food bowl exercise, also called waiting for the food bowl. And what this does is help teach your dog some impulse control. You may be having this problem with your dog currently, or you've seen whatever. The food bowl comes out and there's all chaos erupts. Everybody's jumping and trying to get on the counter and trying to get to that and knocking food bowls out of hands and so on. This helps teach the dogs that they have to sit and wait politely while we put the bowl down, and then they can have it. Kaylee's been doing this for a long time. We do this every time that I feed her, and that's what I recommend to people. Every time you feed, have your dogs do this. She knows where her spot is in the house to get fed. She will go to that spot and wait for me, sit politely, and I'll show you, we make a little game of it, but she likes to do that too. So, excuse me, as I said, that helps keep all those problems from happening with jumping and so on. So, what I'm going to do is, what we do to start out is have a couple treats. I'm going to have her get up here. I like to have the dog in either a sit or down, just because they're not ready to lunge for it. It keeps them in place a little bit better. So, but I'll ask her to sit because she's used to that. Sit. Come on up. Thank you. Good girl. Okay, so, and I'm going to take her leash off. You can do it. Usually you probably won't have a leash on while you're feeding. So, try to get them used to doing this without having a leash to correct them or anything. We don't want to have to pull them away from it. We're just going to have them understand by the verbal cues what they do. So, I've got a couple treats in here. Say she is just starting out, never knew how to do this. What you're going to do is have your dog do a sit or down, whichever you prefer. Ask them to wait, and you're going to start to put the bowl down. If they start going for it before you've said it's all right, pick it up and start over again. We're going to keep doing that until they learn. It doesn't take them too long to learn that, oh, I jumped up to go for it, the bowl goes away. I wait for it and I get to eat. So what we do, and you can use whatever word to release at the end. Kaylee and I, as I said, we make a little game of it. She knows ready, steady, go for when she can have it. So we'll show you real quick how she does do that. So I'm going to ask her to wait, put it down, and she looks at me to see when it's time, and then I'll do ready, steady, go. And she knows go means I can have it. You can use whatever cue you want, say go ahead, whatever, anything that works for you so your dog understands. And I guess she's leaving now to go get her toy. So, just wanted to give you an idea of what we work on. In the beginning obedience, we do, as I said, we follow the same curriculum that we have in class. We learn sit, down, recalls, walking nicely on leash, We learn sit stays and down stays. And then, and these aren't typically in an obedience class, but I think they're really important exercises. They do learn the waiting politely for the food bowl. We learn what we call give and take, which prevents resource guarding, that they trade off their toy or whatever possession they have for either a treat or another toy. And also we learn leave it, which I think is a very important one. Say you're walking and whatever is in the ditch that you don't want your dog to touch, leave it works wonders to have them not get into anything bad. My example that I always use in class and on the videos, whatever, say you're opening a pill bottle and the pills go flying, that could be lethal if your dog goes to get those. Leave it works wonders to stop them from doing that. You know, make sure that way they won't get hurt by anything. So I feel leave it is really, really important. So I throw that in class too, just to help out with that. So, all right, that is about it for today. And as I said, please be sure to let me know if you'd like to go ahead and register for these classes. And if you have any questions at all, get in touch with me. I will have all my contact information is on Facebook, and I'll have that listed again on there too, so you can see what we need to do. So that's about it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks. Take care.